Welcome to Ask the Expert with noted radio host Steve Sleeper. Each week, Steve interviews entrepreneurs and professionals and shares their intriguing stories of success and service. Now, here's radio veteran Steve Sleeper.
Our guest today is Charlie Gallo with the Gallo Law Office in Lynn, Massachusetts, and today we're going to talk about estate planning and elder law. But first of all, Charlie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Steve. Thanks very much for having me.
Oh yeah, no problem. Glad to. Well, hey, let's start things off here by asking you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your firm.
Sure. So I'm attorney Charles Gallo. I go by Charlie, and I am the proprietor of Gallo Law Office, which is in Lynn, Massachusetts. And Lynn is a city of close to 100,000 people. We're just north of Boston. We're probably, without traffic, a 15 to 20-minute drive, but more often is the case, it's about an hour or so, but just north geographically. A little bit about me. I guess, Gallo Law Office is an estate planning and elder law practice, and something that I note to clients and friends is that those are areas of law that I never thought I'd practice. So I went to law school at night. I was first in my family to go to college. After that, I went to law school, and I had to work my way through. And so I looked very hard the summer between college and law school for a paralegal job. Was very fortunate to be offered 3 paralegal jobs, and the one I accepted was in the areas of estate planning and elder law, and I loved it and loved the work, and sort of haven't looked back since. And so I stayed at that paralegal position for 4 years, worked, basically 9 to 5 during the day, went to law school at Suffolk Law School in Boston from 6 to 10 at night, and continued on with that firm as an attorney for a few years before finally opening up Gallo Law Office in my hometown of Lynn in 2014.
Well, let's do a two-part question here.
Sure.
What is estate planning and what is elder law?
Absolutely. So what is estate planning? The first thing to really understand is what is an estate. And so, some people think, an estate is something that only the wealthy have, but in fact, really all of us have an estate. An estate is our financial assets. It is our real estate. It's also our personal property. And by personal property, it could be art, china, it could be a motor vehicle, jewelry, all of our stuff. And so estate planning is the process by which a lawyer, hopefully you go to a lawyer, helps your client to plan their estate, meaning, what happens to your stuff during your lifetime, as you age, and then finally after your lifetime. What happens to your real estate and what happens to your financial assets as well during those periods. And what I do is goal-based estate planning. And so I always ask my client in the first meeting, what are your goals? And, then I make recommendations and ultimately draft documents that accomplish those goals. And I'm happy, Steve, if we have a minute or two to talk about those, what some of those documents might be, or I can jump into estate planning or elder law, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about those documents, then you can jump into elder law.
Sure. Absolutely. So the documents, like I say, I do goal-based estate planning. And so some of my clients say to me they want to avoid the probate process, so that after their lifetimes, they want their family to not have to go see a lawyer or go to court. They want their money or real estate to be immediately available after their lifetimes for their families. And so that's a goal of avoiding probate. Others, want to take into account issues that their heirs have. Maybe they have a child or grandchild who has a disability or is on public benefits or is a minor or unfortunately has fallen into debt or drug abuse or alcohol abuse or gambling. Those are the kinds of goals that come into play. And so the documents I end up drafting then tailored to those goals could include, wills. And so a will is a document that says to the world and to the court, this is what I want to happen to my estate. I want my money to be split among my 3 excuse me, 3 children. I want my real estate to go to my favorite son. I want my personal property, my jewelry, to go to my grandchildren, so on and so forth. It might also include a trust, and there are many, many kinds of trusts, but trusts generally avoid the probate process. And so that's another document that I do frequently. Where my clients have minor children, I might draft up documents to nominate guardians in case the client passes away. They, are able to, at least in Massachusetts, nominate somebody to take care of their kids, which is really important. I also do healthcare proxies and powers of attorney, and I always recommend that everybody 18 years of age or older have these documents. A healthcare proxy is a document that puts somebody in charge really of our well-being, so that if we can't make medical decisions for ourselves, someone is there to do so. And a power of attorney is the same idea, but it's on the banking, financial, and business side. If we're incapacitated, unable to go to the bank, write a check, cash a check, pay a bill, we nominate somebody to do so in that document. So very important documents to have.
Okay, now elder law.
Absolutely. So elder law, there's an organization called NALA, and that's the acronym for the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. And what elder law is, it's really the umbrella of legal services that are provided to people as they age. And so whatever those legal services are, and they vary case to case, fall under that umbrella of elder law. And I'll give a couple of examples, if I could, just to explain what I mean. We just talked about estate planning. Oftentimes, it's my client's goal to protect their home and or savings against the costs of nursing home care. So nursing homes, at least in my geographic area, $12,000 to $15,000 a month is about the cost of a stay in a nursing home. And so, as you can imagine, the average estate will get wiped out pretty quickly. And so, if one of my estate planning clients has as a goal to protect their home or savings against nursing home costs, that then becomes not just an estate planning case, it becomes an elder law case. And just a little tip for your listeners, to do proper elder law type estate planning, you really need to do so at least 5 years in advance of going into a nursing home. So this is something that we should be thinking about as we age, not just on the eve of illness. Elder law also is providing representation for people, seniors usually, who have lost mental capacity. It's often due to Alzheimer's type dementia, for example, that an individual can no longer make medical decisions for themselves or financial decisions for themselves. And if they've done that healthcare proxy and power of attorney that I just mentioned, then really everything's going to be okay ultimately with regard to healthcare and financial decisions. But if they haven't, then the family's really going to be in a bind where mom or dad needs to go to the bank and cash a check, or more seriously, needs to consent to surgery, needs to consent to admission to a hospital, can't do so. And so those are elder law cases. If there's no healthcare proxy or power of attorney in place, I help the family to navigate the court system and get a court-appointed fiduciary called a conservator or a guardian. Applying for public benefits might also be, an area of elder law. So usually it's Mass Health, which is our Medicaid program here in Massachusetts. And then finally, elder law attorneys are pretty good at steering their clients in the right direction. A lot of folks, as they age, could use a hand with cooking or cleaning, and they don't know that those services are available. They could, maybe use one of those lifeline bracelets or necklace in case they were to fall. They don't know how to get hooked up with that or to get hooked up with Meals on Wheels. Oftentimes, elder law attorneys know about these services and can point their client in the right direction.
We're recording this podcast on the last day of April 30th, 2018,
Yes.
and May begins tomorrow. And I understand May is National Elder Month, Elder Law Month. Tell me about that, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. So May is a big month, I guess, for us. May is National Elder Law Month, and actually May 1st is National Law Day, not Elder Law, but Law Day. So we have a big month ahead of us. But so I mentioned earlier the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. That's an organization that really is comprised of lawyers who want to be on top of cutting edge elder law issues. I'm happy to be a member of that organization, and what they say is that May should be used to educate the community about the importance of elder law. I'm hoping that this podcast counts as my or towards my duty as a member in that regard. But one of the things that all lawyers hopefully learn in law school is issue spotting. So that is, we see an issue and we know how to spot and hone in on the legal problem that exists, the legal question or the challenge that exists. And so the idea for elder law then is for lawyers really to help the general public issue spot themselves. And so if somebody's listening to this podcast and they are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80 years old, and don't have a healthcare proxy or power of attorney, hopefully they've been able through this to issue spot and know that they should see an elder law attorney about getting one.
Great information today, Charlie. I appreciate it. Our guest has been Charlie Gallo with the Gallo Law Office, Lynn, Massachusetts, just north of Boston, and depending on the traffic, it's 15 minutes north or an hour north of Boston. But hey, Charlie, how can somebody get a hold of you? Phone number and website and all that stuff?
Absolutely. So the website is charliegallolaw.com, www.charliegallolaw.com, charliegallolaw.com. You can also just search Charlie Gallo Elder Law or Charlie Gallo Estate Planning Lawyer or Charlie Gallo Lynn, Massachusetts. You'll find me that way. Gallo Law Office is also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And for Massachusetts residents, 781-599-3706 is our phone number. Charlie@charliegallolaw.com is the email address.
Hey, Charlie, thanks for being on the show today.
Of course. My pleasure. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for listening to Ask the Expert with Steve Sleeper. Join us next time as entrepreneurs and professionals share their intriguing stories of success and service.